So what if I told you that you were given a gift? It was the most amazing thing that you could ever imagine. Maybe it could change somebody's life in a manner that would touch your heart forever. It could change your life, change the direction like you've never could have thought it could happen. It could stop a person from committing suicide or make an old person feel young again, or make a child feel loved again. Maybe the gift is something that can bring hope to other people. Can make all the pain go away for someone that's dying. Something that amazing, or even more. You see, God's given each and every one of us gifts, talents. Whether you believe it or not, whether you believe in Christ or not, you've been given these gifts. If you're not really sure what those are, you can go on the Rock website, the Rock Church website, and take the spiritual gifts test and figure out what those are. In some cases, it may be things that you're not even aware of. That's not the point, though. The point is that we've all been given these. The question is, what do we do with them? Do we hide them away? Do we put them in a package because we're afraid that they might get damaged? Or we might not use them correctly? Or we might get in trouble for using them? Or do we take chances? Do we take risks and go out and do the best that we can possibly do with what we have to work with? Not being concerned about making them perfect and polished. So in Matthew 25:14, there's a story of a rich man that empowers large sums of money to 3 of his servants. It was somewhere in the neighborhood of a couple of years' worth of earnings is what he gave to each one. Each one he gave a little different amount for different reasons, but he still entrusted this to them. It's kind of like the owner of a business going away for a long period of time and picking 3 random workers that aren't even management and entrusting almost the whole company to them, and then coming back and then asking them what they did with what he entrusted them with, what he empowered them with. So the rich man came back, and he went to the first servant that he entrusted the most with, and he asked him, "What did you do with the money that I gave you?" And he said, "Sir, I took the money that you gave me and I invested it here, and I did that here, and I did that there, and I tripled the amount of money that you gave me, and here it is, sir, I brought it back to you." And he said, "Good and faithful servant, I give you more responsibility and I give you more to work with. Thank you for doing a good job and honoring me with your hard work." He went to the second person and second servant and asked him what he did with it. And he didn't have as much, he wasn't given as much, but he did the same thing. And the rich man gave him the same blessing. "Thank you, good and faithful servant." Entrusted him with large amounts of money and large amounts of responsibility, and kept using him in the same manner because he was honoring him by doing what he had hoped that he would. Then he went to the last servant, and that servant had the least of the money that he gave him, but that servant was more concerned about how it would affect him. He was more concerned about what the boss would think, and so he buried the money in a field someplace until he got back. And then he brought it before the rich man, and he said, "I kept it safe for you, and because I knew you were a hardcore boss, and you were going to ridicule me, and you were going to be mad at me if I didn't do it right. So I didn't take a chance. I kept it safe, and here it is." And the boss did indeed do that. He ridiculed him. He was all over him, and he took all his responsibility away from him because he didn't even take the money and invest it and get a small return on it. He chose to just pack it away so it didn't get damaged. So the point of the story is that quite often we're given gifts. Somebody gives us a set of dishes or something, as you know, when we get married, and we take those dishes and we pack them away in a box and we put them away and we never use them because we're afraid that if we pull them out that somebody might break one or chip them, and then they won't be as valuable as they were when they were given to us. And so we never get to share them with the people we love, and we never get to enjoy them and build relationship and have fellowship around these gifts that were given us. And then there's other people that get the same dishes and they use them all the time, and they invite people over, and they have fellowship around them, and they do things, and they get chips in the dishes, and they drop one and they break it and they can't replace it. But at the same time, they build memories and they build beautiful things around these joyful times that they have with these gifts that were given to them. So the point is what are you going to do with yours? What are you going to do with these gifts that God gave you? Are you going to ignore the fact that you have them? Are you going to continue to tell yourself that, or allow somebody else to tell you that you don't have these gifts, that you're not capable of it? Or are you going to take a chance? Because remember, it's not about perfection. It's not about being perfect. That comes from a place where the world tells us that we can't come and ask God for forgiveness because we haven't got our house in order yet. We haven't got enough stuff straight. We haven't stopped drinking or doing drugs or watching porn or cussing, or we don't go to church enough. And until we get all that stuff straightened out, we don't want to come and ask God for forgiveness. That's Satan. That's not God. Remember, Christ came back for those people. He came back for the ones that were the least. He came back for the tax collectors and the murderers and the prostitutes and all of that stuff, because he knew that those people needed him the most, and their eyes would be on him. And that's where he can do his best work in them, and that's where he can do his best work in us. So trust in him. There's a link attached to this video, and there'll be more videos after. If you're not sure if you're saved, or if you want to renew your vow to the Lord, or if you want to just learn more, click on the link, check it out. God bless.